My name is Lelia I am a clinical hypnotherapist and RTT therapist, and I do give hypnotherapy sessions. And they're very powerful, and not just powerful, but I would say life-changing, right? Because I think when we go and see someone for therapy, first of all, we need to build trust because we're opening ourselves up for painful situations of our past and being able to release them. And I think for that, we really need to have a real bond with the person. So I feel that it's important to do that by being honest. So everyone, I'm very happy to share my flaws and my past mistakes and my current mistakes and so on live on the air. Also to build trust with you listeners so that you know I'm flawed. I'm not a person of authority. It's just that I like to guide my clients through their sessions in the most peaceful and joyful way, and to be able to unburden as many people as I possibly can so that we can make this planet a healthier and more balanced place. Because, I mean, the other day I was driving and I stopped at the traffic lights, and my response to drive when it was green was a little bit delayed. I was a bit slow that morning. And the woman behind me was just beeping and beeping very aggressively, to the point that I thought it was only 3 or 4 seconds, right? But that someone can get themselves into such an hysterical state. I'm sure there were reasons behind it, right? But for me, that just shows, okay, this person clearly needs some guidance to not be so massively triggered. And I could have been triggered by her response, but actually I was pretty chilled about it. I was like, yeah, chill out. I was just driving away, driving even slower, just to wind her up a little bit. I'm only joking. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I do want to talk about anger, rage, and things that stress us out and some of the causes behind it, and also around parenting, conscious parenting, anxiety, the whole shebang. And that is what I tend to do with my clients. We work on whatever affects them the most, and I genuinely work on everything. Physical pains, psychological issues, everything. And it's very rewarding. I know that it's my purpose. So I didn't give you guys a lot of detail on how I do this, but that's why this was the hook now, to get you to listen, so you'll carry on listening.
Go on.
Oh, right. Okay. So I meant to continue. I thought I was going to... I thought I was going to have a little timeout break.
No.
Right. So what I usually do with my clients is I do regression therapy. And that means that I will put you into let's say Dougie is my client. They're wonderful people. And he has serious rage and anger issues. This is obviously just in our imagination. This isn't real. And what I would do with Dougie is put him into a relaxed state. This state is called alpha, and you go into that state on a daily basis. So every time you go to sleep, all of you listening, you, me, Dougie, and so on, when we go to sleep, we go into different brain frequencies throughout the day as well. So if you're having your little siesta throughout the day, you're going to be more relaxed, and the brain chemistry changes, and so on. And that is a natural state of hypnosis. So when you're driving your vehicle to work or to your house and you don't even remember how you got there, that is a hypnotic state. So it doesn't mean that I have the power to make you do anything that you don't that you want, that I want you. God, let me just have a little reset. I can't make you do anything that I want to. So you have to be willing to want to heal. You have to be motivated to want to change this thing, that is causing you issues. And then I do regression therapy, which is helpful because we go back to causes of what caused the anxiety, the anger, the rage, the addiction, the addiction to video games and so on. And then we reprogram the subconscious mind. And the wonderful thing is that the state that you're in, you're still aware of what's going on because we'll be conversing. So you'll remember the entire session. You're not knocked out, don't remember anything, and then you wake up and you have no idea. It's a bit of a weird feeling if that happens, right? So that doesn't happen with me and my sessions and my clients because I want you to be aware of the things that we're working through. We're going to be conversing. You're just going to be in a very soothed and peaceful state where you're a lot more open and receptive to change, and also more aware of some of the things that may have potentially been overlooked throughout your childhood. And when I speak about traumas or pains of the past or of childhood. It doesn't always need to be stuff that really traumatic or violent things. You know, everyone has little things that happen throughout our life that might be unjust, that might be unfair, and that causes wounds within us. And these wounds also cause an energetic charge within our muscles. So let's say I'm standing as a 5-year-old little girl and I'm in class and the teacher asks me to get up and answer the question. And I don't know the answer and I say the wrong answer and everyone laughs and the teacher tells me off and I am humiliated, embarrassed, shamed. And that may potentially trigger issues with public speaking, anxiety, social anxiety, all sorts of things, even resentments. We are all so unique and so different that some of us may have that experience and be completely blasé about it and not be affected by it. And some of us, that might be a really traumatic event that will follow us around for the rest of our life. And anytime we're at work and we have to give a presentation, we really struggle. We can't figure out why, because we're actually confident people. So that's just a very straightforward and simple example of how something quite well, it's not minor because it's very hurtful to shame a child, especially in the school systems. You know, the pressure to succeed and exams and homework. It's just something that needs to be worked on. And then obviously we give our children the phone to entertain them and keep them going, and that is also quite unhealthy and it can become highly addictive. But what I can do in the sessions is help you get an understanding for, first of all, what the cause is. It's not always necessary, by the way, to find out the exact cause of where this issue came from. It's just having acceptance and understanding of self and why we respond to these things in certain ways. And so that's what I do in the sessions, is we do a lot of inner child work and releasing that energetic charge of that wound. So I'm this 5-year-old little girl who had that experience. So in that moment when everyone laughed at me and pointed and the teacher got angry because I got the answer wrong, there is the stress hormones in my body. It will flood my entire body, and it's as if it gets stuck within your body. It's that charge. So if you may have noticed and you think back to certain situations where anxiety comes up, not all of us get it in our chest. Some of us get really bad stomach aches, or they get diarrhea and they think, oh, there's something wrong. It's not. Most of the time, a lot of children have stomach aches and they're poorly, and we take them to the doctor and the doctor doesn't know why. They do all these blood tests and so on. And actually, they don't realize, but it's anxiety. They just don't know how to express that. And it's quite straightforward to how to release that. And it still baffles me to this day when I hear parents, mothers, fathers, and so on speak about their children. It's like, he's just a bad boy. He's just so difficult. She's so difficult. And it's not the child. We have to take ownership as parents and say, what am I giving off energetically? What am I giving out in this world with my behavior and my actions that could affect my child in a negative way? Can I handle that? Can you release your ego and your pride and your pain and so on and say, do you know what? It's not my child. Yes, my child is behaving in a way that isn't balanced and is strange, and sometimes we don't understand it because we think we're well-rounded people. But I would look within myself as a parent and just let all of that pride wash away and just say, okay, what can I do within myself to improve the relationship and the bond with my child? What can I do? What can I put aside or heal with therapy or hypnotherapy? Obviously, come to Lelia Hypnosis. That would improve my child's behavior. And it works. It works.
What do people come to see you mostly for?
There are so many different issues. I can't even give you one, so I'm just going to give you lots of information.
Do it.
So there's a lot of parents that are struggling with their children and they're just overwhelmed with stress. Then there's rage, anger, a lot of addiction clients because I'm recovery. Anxiety is massive. Insecurity, menopausal issues, symptoms that come up. Physical pains, not as much at the moment, but I have had a lot of people with back pains and Actually, IBS and stomach problems, that's been recently, it's been quite extreme, actually. Every person that I've worked near to, every person that I'd worked to had some issue. And there's a reason for that, because when we hold our stuff in and we suppress it, I'm even doing this hand gesture of pushing the emotion down, and it tends to be stuck within our chest, as in the emotions and the charge of the pain or of the worry, of the concern, of the fear. Fear is one of the biggest causes for anxiety, for a lack of self-confidence, for anything, really. So I can't really pinpoint it. I just see, and that's why I love my job, because it never gets boring. There's always something to do. And I love puzzles, and it's as if we're all unique puzzles that need to be lovingly put together, nurtured. And I'm not the one who is healing the person or curing. I'm actually just there guiding, and the techniques that you are going to experience in a hypnotherapy session with me, you'll be able to use those at home as well. And so what I really want is for a person to come and see me once, preferably, and for the issue to be resolved. And it is very rapid. And I'm not going to say, yes, I can solve everything, all of your issues in one session. Most of the time, people only tend to come once or twice, and then the issues are resolved. However, that depends on the amount of trauma and the different issues that there are. If it's addiction, it's always going to be more, because it's very complex and very unique to each person. But I don't want to hook the person to come back on a weekly basis every month. I want them to thrive. And I give a lot of support after the sessions, before the sessions, where I have hypnotic audios, generic ones, soothing ones, before the client has their session, so they get to listen to that at home, in their own bed, warming up to my voice, building a connection, getting used to being hypnotized. So there's a lot of steps towards a successful outcome, and I ensure that the client is always able to contact me. So I do a 24-hour WhatsApp service. So for certain clients, they barely use it because they don't need it. But then there's others that are a lot more vulnerable with serious depression or suicidal thoughts and so on. And so that's quite helpful. And even for some of the teens that I work with, who do have phones, if they're in moments of distress and they don't know how to communicate to another parent, because maybe the parent is the biggest trigger, they have got someone to talk to that they can share their stuff with, and everything is confidential. And I feel like we all just it's so generic saying this, but we need to love ourselves more, and we don't teach our children. We're not really. I mean, you might have been brought up in a home where you were taught how to self-soothe, how to self-love, how to nurture yourself, how to get over stressful situations. So I know a lot of parents that are really good at that. They're really motivational and that know how to inspire the children to be more independent and confident and so on. But then most of the time, we're helicopter parents. Either we're continuously controlling because we have so little time. So it's like, come on, school's finished. You got to go do your homework. You got to do this. You got to go bath. And then we just lose our beep. We are just overwhelmed with stress because we've got our own stuff, but we're not resolving it. And then the child reflects, just a mirror. Just like our partner is a mirror to us. And something that might annoy you in one person, which is, for example, if you have, let's say you have a couple, and one of them is extremely abusive, violent to the other one, right? And the other one just continues to go back to that person. So, and there's a lot of jealousy from one of the abuser, and the victim, it seems to just continue to go back. They've got very similar wounds. We just think, oh, this person is an abuser, they're abusing their partner, and that poor person keeps going back to the abuser. But actually, their emotional wounds are so similar. He's insecure, or she's insecure, the abuser is insecure and jealous because there is a wound of not enoughness, or because there is, or whatever reason, right? And the other person that keeps going back to the abuser, also lack of self-worth, insecurity, not enoughness. So sometimes we look at someone and think, oh, what an awful person. However, we might have some of that within us. And so we need to slowly become observers rather than judge everything, because there is a lot of bad in this world, but there's also so much good. We just don't hear about it. And when I get my phone out and I'm on social media, which I have to be for my businesses And I enjoy it to an extent, but my social media is incredibly positive. I only follow people or companies that enlighten me. I'm not going to listen to any gossip, anything negative, anything that might try and persuade me to change my opinions on things that, like, for example, the earth is not flat, guys. The earth is round. I hope. But things like that, you know, we need to be more aware and not... A lot of it is laziness as well. We want our children to thrive. We want to thrive ourselves, but then I guess by the end of the day, and then you end up having a glass of wine just to kind of get through the day. And the same thing happens over and over and over again. Nothing really changes because we're not doing anything, because I don't like people wasting my time, because I know I don't have a lot of time on this beautiful earth. So I only spend my time with very special people who I can bond with on a pure level, who make me feel enlightened. And when I say enlightened, I don't mean like, woo, 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 you know, all holy. No, I just mean recharged, vibrant, happy, joyful, grateful to be alive.
What's that saying? Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Oh, I like that.
Have you not heard that before?
No.
Oh, it's true.
But I love it. Your vibe.
You can have that. You can have that one.
Thank you. My vibe attracts this tribe.
There you go.
I mean, saying these people in this room. And now I've lost my trail of thought.
I do apologise.
Yes, I'll do. But the reason why I'm saying this is because we don't have a lot of time here. And we don't know how long our loved ones are going to be here. And rather than being fearful about that, is do everything, take risks, but take positive risks in treating yourself with love, nourishing yourself. And that doesn't mean, hey, come here and see Lelia Hypnosis, you're going to do so much better afterwards. I would love that, of course. But if you don't have the funds for it, there are so many different options, so many things that you can do, even if they're small, changing your outlook on things, writing down 3 things you're grateful for the moment you wake up in the morning. It's small steps. And all of the giant CEOs and the big bosses will tell you that it's about the small things that matter the most. So even with your partner, right? Let's say I live with my partner. I don't, but let's imagine I'm with my partner and my partner goes off to work. And they say that a 20-second hug or a 6-second kiss with a loved one secretes oxytocin for both of you. So that your relationship will improve. It will last. I told my son this morning because I said, I'm going to share that on BayRadio today. And he was like, let's try it out. And he was just hugging me and hugging me. And the relationship with me and him wasn't always easy because I was the problem. He's always been pure, but his behavior has gone up and down because of my ups and downs, my wounds, my traumas. But I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I'm going to use that for wisdom and how can I get through this? If I've made a mistake, if I shouted at him because I'm very stressed or because... he's not doing. I've repeated myself for the 20th time, and if you're a parent, you know it just pushes you to another limit of stress, right? You're just like, oh my God, please just brush your teeth. How many times? But if that does ever happen, then I am able to, in that moment, or even before I get to that point of stress, remove myself. Because it's not the end of the world. He will brush his teeth. Right now, me going to the extremes and causing him stress, causing me stress, which is adrenaline coursing through my body. I'm not going to sleep very well, am I? Before bed, screaming like that, getting him to go to bed. Things like that, you know, we just need to become more aware, conscious, and take our time. And that's very difficult in such a busy and stressful world. But we're the ones that can control how much stress we allow into our lives, how we see what outlook we have. For example, yesterday I got a bill, quite a big bill, I must say. And I've been waiting for this bill. And I got it handed to me by a lovely postman. He was so sweet. And I was so happy because I was in a good mood anyway. I'm not happy because I need to pay this, because I really don't want to have to pay it. And it's going to be difficult to do so. However, I felt grateful because I thought, do you know what? Now I know how much it is. Now I can complete this and it will be done. And I know that's not always easy because if you're flooded with debt and you've got an ex-partner who's being annoying and you've got this and the dog has just broken its paw and you need to invest another $1,000 into that and you're just emotionally bankrupt and financially bankrupt, it's hard to then be like, oh, thank you so much for my lovely $1,000 of a bill. Yes, I get that. So I have compassion and empathy for every person's situation and circumstances, but there is a way of slowly altering your behavior and your mindset, because the more you focus on the negative, the more negative you're going to receive. It is just the law of vibration, of frequency, of attraction. And anytime I don't think about money, and because this is a topic that affects a lot of us and it's very stressful, and sometimes we also let that out on our children because they, oh, Mum, I want this, I want that, and we just explode because it's like, I don't have the money for it. And you don't want to have to share that with your child because, again, our confidence, our pride, our ego gets in the way, and also sometimes there's a bit of shame around it. We want our children to see us as providers and that we're doing well, and I get that, and it's the more we focus on the negative and the lack of, and not just focus consciously, I mean, you can feel it in your body. The more you heal, the more connected you'll be to your emotions, and your emotions are a very clear sign of what is not aligned in your life. And I always know I'm about to get something negative financial now because I've been thinking about money too much, and where am I going to get this money from? And I can feel it in my chest. And so then I do a little walk around my block, or I go and sit by a plant, and call me a tree hugger if you want, but it works for me. Or I'll water my plants and I'll just enjoy watching how the water is flowing into the plants and seeing the green colour and the stripes on the leaf and the beautiful petals and the softness of the petal. And even just describing this is very soothing. But you can do that. Anyone who's listening can do that.
We were talking about addiction earlier.
Yes.
And similarities between.
Yes. So they've done some brain scans on children who use devices, play video games, or spend time on social media for more than 20 hours a week. They did brain scans on these children and also on adults, people with substance abuse problems, so addiction to drugs or alcohol, and the brain scans were incredibly similar. That's quite shocking. We don't know the effect. Listen, I use my phone on a daily basis. Sometimes I want to lob it out the window because I'm just like, bing, bing, bing. I love it in a way because I'm helping clients and they're excited and I get to bond and I can speak to people from all over the world. So I use this platform, but I use it very consciously. And so I had noticed the more I was working and the more stressed I was, the less time I had to focus and be present with my child. And I know a lot of you guys have that same problem, is that I just don't know where I get the time from. We need to earn money, we need to, but then we can't be calm and peaceful with our children. So I've changed how much screen time I allow my child to have, but I replace it with something that is nourishing. And I do have to say, guys, it makes a massive difference to your child. The benefits are insane. So what you could, for example, start doing is, if you notice that your child has got a need to be on this device, because it's habitual as well, right? Addiction is habitual, and a lot of it we can change and we can alter with by using, just changing the behavior and so on, but using a system of rewarding. So what I did with my son is, he knows he can only watch 1 hour. What he does with that time is not only for him to do, because I don't let him go on YouTube and just watch whatever he wants. Have you been on YouTube? It's mental, the stupid stuff. And I said, John Leon, you are one of the most intelligent children I've ever met. You're so wise. And you're watching someone react, as in, I'm watching you laugh at someone else playing a video game. And your kids are watching this, and we're not doing anything about it. And then we wonder why they're aggressive and stressed and irritable and moody and gobby and so on. We need to be the ones that take control and suffer for the first 3 weeks, because it's going to be difficult, because they're going to be resentful and they will be reactive, but it will be worth it, and your life will be calmer. They'll want to be out in nature. Give them a ball, give them a wooden puzzle or any kind of puzzle. Give them something that they can do with their hands. They're at school all day and they're focused, and we think rewarding them with the phone or giving them access to Netflix or whatever, this is great and I'm doing something good for my child. No, it's not. Depending, right? So watching a film together, me and my son watched Trolls 3 the other day and we were laughing hysterically and I love it, and we were dancing, and that's fun to have a treat and to connect over something. But just giving them the device so that you can go and do the laundry or wash the dishes or do whatever is, I understand why we do it, right? I'm not judging that because I've done it, but I've noticed that the behavior of my child was getting quite extreme and very impatient, didn't want to go outside. The beach was, ugh, I hate the beach. I was like, what? You hate the beach? That's so strange. I thought you loved the beach. So you need to just go through with this change of setting a timer, very clear rules, guys. So what you could do with your children is, for example, on the weekend, find a moment where you've got 3 hours or something along those lines. Get yourself some cartulina, some cardboard or something like that from the paper shop, and create a star chart of things that you'd like to reward them for. And when they get, by the end of the week, if they've gotten 20 stars, 30 stars for every morning they brush their teeth, they make their bed, and they've played out in nature. I don't know, you can put whatever you want on there. At the end of it, you can reward them. Maybe if they've got 30 stars, they get €3. Or if you don't want to do it with money, do it with something healthy, or do it with something fun. If you get 100 stars, we're going to go on a fishing trip, or we're going to go and do something. But try not to reward this whole thing with phones and so on, because yes, it can be very beneficial for studying, for learning language and connecting. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, if we don't control how often and how much these children use and what they're taking on and all that crappy information, sorry, I just have to say it, then we're going to create children who can't focus. They don't remember anything. They have got terrible memories, insane mood swings, the temper tantrums. And if you change this behavior slowly by creating beautiful rules like that, you will notice a difference. It just might take some time, and it will be stressful, but only for a very short amount of time. The benefits are they're just so worth it. Like I've written some of the benefits down there. They'll have more focus, they'll feel calmer, it will be easier for them to pick up a book because they've got no other option. They have to. And children are creative. We're not allowing them to be imaginative anymore because they're seeing everything on the phone. And then if you've noticed, and I find this really important, guys, is when you watch your child watch a video, let's say on YouTube, and this is specifically to hook the child's attention, you will hear in so many different sounds that they're putting into these videos. It's bing, dong, ding, and the lights. Why do you think these children have no attention span anymore? Because they want the viewer to be hooked and continuously listen and focus. So when there's stillness, they don't know what to do with that. And also any pains or traumas and stuff are being suppressed because you're giving them the phone to distract them. It's not healthy. However, it's understandable. I just mean that there are different ways of changing this. I do work with children. I thought I'd mention that. But mainly, I prefer working with the parent because the parent's the one who's going to be the one to maintain it. Absolutely. And so you can have an abusive parent and the child's having problems. I'll treat the child's doing a little bit better. A week later, the same thing happens, weeing in the bed because they're fearful of their parent or because of whatever reason. So, dear parents, if you are having difficulty with your child, or you know someone, or you are just feeling overwhelmed and stressed and you don't know where to turn to, you can just book in a free consultation with me and we can chat about it. You know, it's free, not the session, but the consultation is. It's 20, 30 minutes and we can have a chat. At least you'll be able to unburden yourself and ask the questions that you might not be able to ask your friends because you're embarrassed or you just, it's a bit intimate and you feel uncomfortable to share.
How do people get in touch with you, though?
I was just about to say that. I'm basically talking to myself. You can find me on my website on leliahypnosis.com. You can also find me on YouTube. I've got my YouTube channel with wonderful videos that explain certain causes and so on. And I've also got free hypnotic audios for children and for adults in different languages on my website. You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. I think I am near to everywhere.
Literally?
Literally.
Yes.
I am everywhere.
So just Google Lelia Hypnosis
yeah.
and you'll find all those resources.
Yes.